39-year-old man who became South Africa's first case of COVID-19 is still quarantined at Grey's Hospital. The health department has now confirmed a second case. A 39-year-old woman was in direct contact with the first patient. We understand the Gauteng woman is now in isolation as well. The department says they are in contact with others who were close to the patient and they are being tested. ENCA's Shahan Ramkisoon is outside Grey's Hospital in Pietermaritzburg. He'll be reconciling with other journalists on where we are in the country. We have Tseko Hacho Mohachi in our newsroom studio, and then in the Western Cape, Monique Mortlock. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Shahan Ramkisoon, just to give us a sense of where the country is looking at all of these locations on this coronavirus.
Well, there have two people in South Africa confirmed to have COVID-19, both under isolation at hospitals in Johannesburg and Pietermaritzburg. I'm outside the Pietermaritzburg City Hall. We've moved here because this is where the health minister will be meeting with officials and community members as well as business leaders just to update them on the situation. We will be taking that live. It's set to happen later on this afternoon. As you mentioned, of course, the patient here in Pietermaritzburg apparently doing well. He is still in isolation and receiving treatment, and so is the one in Johannesburg. But Tseko Hacho is following that angle for us, and then Monique Mortlock is in Cape Town just to look at the readiness of that city going into this. Tseko, let's start with you. What more can you tell us about how the patient in Johannesburg is doing?
Well, Shahan, we don't have a lot of information at the moment about how that patient is doing. We do know that she is currently at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital, and that is where she's being held for in isolation. But there isn't much information coming through at the moment from the Department of Health or the NICD about how many people she was in contact with, if any, and if those people are also being tested.
Monique, of course, there were weekend reports about somebody having the virus in Cape Town that was later dismissed. What are officials saying?
Yes, Shahan, earlier when we spoke to the health MEC, Noma French-Mbombo, she made mention of this, saying that this is just one way in which we are seeing this panic spreading. This person apparently told doctors that he had come from China or he had been in China. And obviously these are one of the measures that authorities are looking at when trying to determine if someone could be a suspected case of COVID-19. They look at your travel history, whether you've been in contact with anyone from those countries where we've seen these cases of COVID-19, and if you are showing symptoms of a fever, a cough, or whatever the case might be. And this gentleman was then found to not have any of the symptoms and to not have COVID-19, and authorities are urging members of the public not to use this for their own personal gain and not to misuse the resources at their disposal.
So, Tseko, of course, we know 10 people actually went on this trip to Italy and have returned to South Africa. 2 of them confirmed cases of the coronavirus. What's happening with the other 8?
Well, we do understand that the other 8 have been tested for the COVID-19, and we're still waiting on those particular results. An interesting conversation that I had yesterday with someone from the Department of Health when I asked why is it that people were able to come through into the country and not be tested for COVID-19 at the airport. And I was told that the thing is, what they do test at the airport, or what they look for, is specifically your temperature. So if your temperature is too high, then they set you aside at the airport already. And these people that have already confirmed, that have got the 2 cases confirmed, Shahan, we understand that their temperature was normal, and that's why they were able to go home. So the other patients, we understand that they have been tested and just waiting on those results.
So, Monique, of course, all right, we are hearing breaking news that there is a 3rd confirmed case. Our team will get you more details on that in a moment. So, Monique, given this information, the Western Cape must be on high alert with a 3rd confirmed case. How are they prepared to deal with the situation?
Yes, of course, Shahan. I am at one of the designated treatment centres in the country, one of those 13. I'm at Tygerberg Hospital at the moment, and as I mentioned before, we haven't yet had a confirmed case of COVID-19 here in the Western Cape. And what the MEC told me earlier is that there are various measures being put in place, as my colleague Tejo mentioned, that thermal scanning taking place also at Cape Town International Airport. AXA, Airport Companies of South Africa, is in constant communication with the Department of Health here in the province and National Department, and they are constantly keeping in communication with the type of questions that they ask visitors coming from those high-risk areas. Once a visitor is seen to have those markings, either their travel history, the symptoms, they are then put in isolation, where they will then be tested, and only once the tests come back, whether it's negative or positive, will these results be made known to members of the public and to the media.
Tseko, as we get more details on this third case, I'm just waiting for that statement to open up on my side from the Health Department. I believe we're going to speak to Health Minister Zweli Mkhize quite soon. What's the latest from the NICD?
Well, as far as we understand, the NICD has tested over 200 people for this particular virus, and that is how we are getting these confirmed cases more and more that are now coming through. We do understand that they have also requested that people do not panic and, of course, just keep with what we know at the moment and how one can prevent getting COVID-19. But they have done a few tests, and they are saying that, of course, more people, as Monique has said, the more people that have actually been to these high-risk areas, more of those people will continue to be tested.
And Monique, let's end with you. People, of course, taking extra precaution in KwaZulu-Natal and Johannesburg. What's happening in the Western Cape?
Yes, Shahan, as you may know, last week or a few days ago on Friday, in fact, I visited several retailers just to find out from them whether they've seen an increase in the demand for hand sanitizing products and for cleaning products, face masks. All of the retailers said yes, they have seen a spike, especially in light of when the first news broke of that first patient in KwaZulu-Natal being tested for COVID-19. And this increase in demand is obviously leading to prices also rising of these various products. Retailers are, of course, also urging the public not to panic buy, but they say they are stocked up, they are ready for that increase as the days go on. And I'm sure that with this third confirmed case, we'll see an even bigger demand for these type of products. And here in Cape Town, we haven't yet seen as big of a frenzy in your places like shopping malls, big tourist areas like the waterfront. I've only seen one or two people, and it seems to be more foreigners wearing those face masks.
All right, thanks very much indeed. We've got Monique Mortlock there, who just ended off those remarks there in the Western Cape. Cheko Haso Mohachi in our newsroom. And then Shahan Ramkissoon in Pietermaritzburg. So indeed, Shahan, a third case. As I read through the statement here, I see it's the wife of the first patient. And I suppose it's almost inevitable, Shahan, that we were never going to end up with just one case of COVID-19 in this country, were we?
Yeah, definitely not, especially since 10 people traveled on this trip to Italy and came back at the same time, Dev. So let's go in detail through the statement from the Health Department. And it goes as follows. Fellow South Africans, an announcement was made yesterday confirming a second case of COVID-19 in South Africa. In that statement, we indicated that the second patient was in direct contact with the first. We further indicated that there was a group of 10 people who had traveled to Italy. We confirmed that we traced all 10 of the individuals. 9 of them had returned to South Africa. The 10th had not and is therefore not in our country. So that's what the statement is saying. This morning we have received the results of the direct contact of the first patient, his wife. She had also traveled with him to Italy as part of the group of 10. I now wish to advise the public that she tested positive for COVID-19 and is therefore the third case in South Africa. And just for context, Evan, the ministry, of course, moved the first patient to the hospital at Gray's Hospital on a Friday. He's in isolation there. His wife and 2 children were in isolation at home. So now that they've confirmed that she does have COVID-19, she will probably be moved to the public health facility to be in isolation as well. The statement then goes on to say we expect the results of the other 6 group members who had traveled to Italy within the next 48 hours, so we can get official confirmation then. It's important to advise the public that the couple's children were tested and the results have come out negative. However, as part of the extra precautions, these children will remain in self-quarantine until their parents have tested negative. At this point, they will be tested to ensure they remain negative. Until then, they will be regarded as potentially infected. This means we will have to continue. They will continue not to return to the school, and this has in an effort to curb the spread of this virus being spread. So, all right, the Minister is on the line. Minister William Kizia, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So we're seeing that this is the third confirmed case in South Africa. What more can you tell us?
Hello?
Minister, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, great, Minister Shahan. I'm in KwaZulu-Natal. I just need to get more information on the third confirmed case. What more can you tell us?
Okay. Yes, we would like to announce that we have a third person who has tested positive for the coronavirus. And she is the contact of the first patient that was diagnosed and admitted in the Gray's Hospital. In fact, she's the wife. She has been part of the 10 that had traveled to Italy together. We've been testing them and waiting for the results. They have tested positive for the lady, but she is without any symptoms at the moment, but she will be taken to the hospital for the doctors to do a proper thorough examination. We also tested the children. We want to confirm that the children are actually negative. So because all of them are living together, we would therefore keep the children with the family as long as the parents are still positive. We have to wait and test the children once the parents have turned negative.
So the likelihood that these children are infected is probably high, Minister. They won't be returning to school, of course.
They are not going back to school. We treat them because of the exposure that they should be kept in the home quarantine until their parents test negative. Then they will also then be tested.
Minister, there were, of course, 10 people that traveled to Italy. 9 have returned to South Africa. Where are the rest, and where are they being isolated?
Well, they are isolated in their own homes, and we're waiting for the results to be coming to us within the next 48 hours, and then we'll announce the results at that point.
Which provinces are they in?
They're in KwaZulu-Natal. These are friends, we're family. They were
all right,
friends
so Minister, just
together.
Yeah, so tell us about this isolation. We do know that they returned from Italy. They were probably in contact with other people upon their return. Have you reached out to those people and got them tested as well?
For everyone who has tested positive, excuse me, for everyone who's testing positive, we then establish all the contacts and then we follow them up. Right now, we've been following up on the contacts of the 2 people. That really comes to quite a large number because the one we counted probably about 25 people that are being followed, and then on most of them have been called, and then contact has been made with them. The other one had about 13 people, and we have also called them all, and therefore we will be checking with them how they are. The likelihood is that most of them will remain negative, and then we will then be monitoring them over the next few days so that we can just be sure that they are fine.
And then what about the aircraft that these 10 people were traveling on? How many people have you located from that aircraft, and are they being tested?
The people are being tested, or being traced, are those who were sitting within around 2 meters away from these people because of the nature of the spread of the infection, and those are the ones that have given us a whole total of contacts that we are tracing. So we are cooperating with the airlines to find all of those people. Many of them have been found and contacted. We are still trying to find the rest of them. So when we've got that information and it's complete, we'll then talk about it. Right now, we can only announce that we have established who the people were in that vicinity, and we're actually tracking them all and talking to them.
And Minister, when I spoke to you on Friday, you said 18 people at least are being tested in South Africa for the coronavirus. Has that increased at all?
Well, just remember that when we said it was 18 people, we were still talking to the particular patient. Now the number is 25. Then we were then saying that the second person would also be, we've found the numbers of people who come to about 13, and so we'll test those people. When we get the third patient, we're also going to look if there's anyone who is missed. Fortunately, the first patient and the last one are a couple, so they tend to have common experience. They would have been with the same people together at the same time. So we may not get a very large number out of that, but we will still establish them as individuals and then go through all the contacts and see whether, in fact, there are any additional contacts that we have not found based on talking to the first patient.
And then you spoke to the first patient. How's he feeling?
He's feeling so well. In fact, we're joking and we're talking. He has got no symptoms whatsoever. He's feeling well. He really just waiting there because doctors say he must wait. But otherwise, he's well. All the symptoms he had, the sneezing, the coughing, and so on, he no longer has any of those things. So he's well as far as I'm concerned. I was even joking with him to say, yeah, you have symptoms. Your wife is well, has got no symptoms. Your wife is very strong. And he laughed about it. He is well, and really he was very appreciative of all the support he has received. I also spoke to the doctor who's looking after him. The doctor is also fine. He's very happy with the patient. Patient is well. Ordinarily, such a patient shouldn't even be in the hospital.
So when do you actually rule out that this man is safe to be relieved from isolation?
Look, I don't want to preempt the doctors, but to be honest with you, the patients, when you look at how they've reported on the patients worldwide, they kind of categorize them in 4 categories. The most serious ones are where we've had patients demising, which has been reducing in number. Then you've got the next lot are patients who are recovered, who have got no more symptoms. Then you've got those who are classified as sick. Then amongst those, we've got 2 groups. We've got those who have got very minimal symptoms or no symptoms whatsoever. Then you've got others who need intensive care or very critical care to be given to them. So those that tend to be staying longer in hospitals are those who require critical care, not just everybody. So we will therefore be discussing with the doctors. And that's why in the afternoon I want to discuss the approach to how we treat different groups so that the public should be aware the approaches are going to be different depending on what the manifestations of the disease are on the individual. So we'll talk about that in the afternoon, though.
All right, I'll speak to you this afternoon. I'm actually outside the legislature where you'll be meeting with community members as well as the medical sector. I appreciate your time and your honesty. Minister of Health, Zweli Mkhize, speaking to us about the 3rd confirmed case of the coronavirus. This, of course, being the wife of the man who was first admitted to Grace Hospital in KwaZulu-Natal. And it is our breaking news story. 3 people now confirmed to have the coronavirus in South Africa. The minister saying at least 25 others are currently being tested. They're waiting for those results. They'll get it in about 48 hours or so. Dev, so we'll have updates from KwaZulu-Natal throughout the day right here on ENCA. For now, it's back to you.